All right, so welcome back to Nightfall in Amsterdam, the sort of kind of mostly werewolf venue, sort of kind of technically also crossover, as we will set scene on the Sept of the Riddling Waters. I almost thought I was saying the wrong thing halfway through, where we have a new face among the community. A new person has been brought onto Sept, a kinfolk who has been carefully found a place to stay. Not the pack house per se. Probably better to give him a little bit of space in light of the fact that there are what 5 guru living in that house now. It's a little much. It's a lot of rage to thrust a kinfolk into the middle of. So he's got his own little digs going off somewhere. Grace would not shut up until there was a place for him to stay. And once he'd had a chance to get in there and kind of settle in, and she had a pretty good idea that he was, had had dinner and went to sleep, she went off to do her own things. And in light of the fact that when she really sets her mind to it, sleep is kind of optional anyways, she's been running around. She's been getting things done. She's been rooting and talking and asking, speaking to elders, and just kind of running herself willy-nilly all over the Sept. But it's morning now. It might even be considered somewhat early morning, as Grace goes a-tromping across Sept with, well, turns out it's a breakfast tray. Just fuck it. I mean, things are covered over. It's not like she's marching along with a little breakfast in bed tray and a fucking vase on it. No, she's got foodstuffs. She's got a breakfast kind of covered up so nothing will spill out, nothing will fall over, nothing will get in it. And is got a business-like little strut of a trot going as she heads over to check on poor Bauka, see how he's getting on. But this means that, she will be visible as she doom her way across Sept.
Dooping across Sept. Hey, brother is watching. Hey, you're off to. He's quickly behind you.
As Big Brother does the anime whoosh and appears in a little blur behind her back ugh.
Yeah.
In fact, she'll do the little bleh. Oh, hey Dominic.
Are you up to this early?
Taking breakfast to Bauka. Does the little tray heft thing. See, here it is. It's food.
I mean, he's a kinfolk, but I assume he can eat on his own.
Probably, but I haven't exactly made full arrangements. It was kind of a last-second sort of thing, so thought I'd make sure he got breakfast.
So he's become your special pet, has he?
There's a moment of kind of a tweak to the side head. I mean, if you want to get technical, yeah, Eric said I'm flat out responsible for him, what he does. But, we hadn't even gotten to the part where we'd really decided we were dating, so it's a weird kind of half one way, half the other kind of thing, and it's very conflicting. Stare.
I was supposed to... I don't have it in me to lie this early in the morning. He just looks at you. I have no idea what the fuck you're doing.
Look, at this rate, I'm going to end up claiming him, and he's going to be completely fucking done with me, and we're not even going to be
even know about claiming? I mean...
No, he doesn't. I haven't had time to explain much of anything to him.
Explanation time. Let's go!
But I'm going to... Why is everyone going to make this as hard as humanly possible?
Oh, well, woohoo, baby. We're doing this now.
I'm going to explain.
We're going to explain today.
I'm going right now. She starts getting nudged along, the little push on the back, and doing the little stiff leggy walk. I'm going right now.
Today's the day.
About a million things. He only even knows we exist as of last night.
Well, today's the day.
I know.
Oh,
I'm going. Jeez. Could we not completely terrify him and make him hate me, please?
Hate is such a subjective word.
No, it's pretty cut and dry.
No, it's not.
It's pretty sharp and pretty real.
And so is love. It's two sides of the same coin.
I know. I know. Then why do you think I'm so fucking worried? They're pretty close together. There's just a thin line between them.
But you're lucky, so it's fine. We'll figure it out.
How am I being so lucky? Like, as she's getting driven along, getting shriller and shriller by the moment.
Dun 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 dun.
Oh,
Good
Jesus.
morning.
Oh, Dominic, come on. These are kinfolk. Let's pretend to be nice, huh?
I am being nice. Good morning. I said good morning.
Oh, God.
Good morning. Knock, knock,
Valka?
knock, knock.
Well,
Can I, come in?
Door open.
Jesus, Dominic! She's like looking up at this big dude with like the shockingly bright blue eyes, like, Jesus!
Bauke, for his part, is sitting on the floor, cross-legged, and he seems to be reaching out to a couple of things, but none of the things that he is reaching out to, all the places are empty. It's just filled with air.
I brought breakfast.
We brought breakfast. Morning.
Nice. Hi. It was Dominic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Nice to meet you again.
Yeah. So you're all part of this. I should have actually guessed that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Grace will come in and essentially, duck in and is a little slinky about it because she's kind of braced for him to be mad at her. So she slides in and goes over and sets the tray by him.
Pats Grace on the head. This is my little sister. She's perfect. She's so bright-eyed and full of questions. So, how do you like it?
How do I like what?
Yeah. Are you comfortable?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the place is pretty good. I didn't realize they had tree houses here.
It's a thing.
How is this here?
As trite as it sounds, I'm gonna do the same thing I did before, and she like does the little finger wiggles. It's complicated.
Oh.
I mean, you can literally.
Dominic Smalkus wiper.
You can literally throw a stone, and you're already in the. Like, I can see the village from here. Like, Almeida's right over there.
You remember I told you a lot of the everything I do, all my little tricks and whatnot. It's all fueled by spirits and whatnot. It's
Oh yeah,
the same
I can see
thing.
them. I gathered up a bunch of them.
You did?
Yeah, they're right here.
There's a glance around. Oh.
None of them are visible.
Well, the big one that keeps this place safe does that. Because otherwise we'd have a lot of understandable complications.
There's a bigger one?
Yeah. There's a lot of bigger ones. The ones you're usually going to see are going to be the little fellas.
I mean, these guys are pretty little. Isn't that right? Yeah, I felt so too.
He's getting along fine. You worry too much, Grace.
I worry a lot. She just looks over at him like, man, what?
I mean, the
The
circumstances.
way you were going on and on, it was like he was having a panic attack.
I mean, the circumstances of my arrival here are pretty weird. It's not every day I get a boot to my throat.
I mean, it's necessary.
Is it though? Is it?
I have such a pretty stompable neck, though. It's fine. It's how we get other people.
Are you being serious or are you joking?
There's some that like to come willingly, and there's some that don't. So we have to protect measures to protect you.
Just she kind of waves up at Dominic. You remember how I said I've got, only a little bit of the thing, and Eric has a lot. This is Dominic's also got a lot. He's in a rune too.
Oh, are you gonna step on my throat as well?
Are you asking me to? Is this your relationship?
No, I'm definitely not asking you to step up. I would in fact prefer that it not happen again.
Look, Belka, to be perfectly honest, part of the reason that happened is, like I said, a lot of us when we do go boom, as it were, it's usually fueled by anger or fear. And he was checking to see if you just needed a trigger to set you off. Because if it was going to happen, it needed to happen somewhere safe. I promise it was a weird situation. But you saw him before. He's not bad people. I know it was a lot really fast, but
Look, man,
I mean, you're not sensitive or anything, right?
I didn't grow up in a secret society.
Oh, did they tell you about secrecy? Speaking of secret societies.
I don't. Look, man.
we had just started to touch on it about time. We thought he might have been changing.
Oh yeah, so I didn't. So what's up with that?
It's a thing that the whole you being related to us in that weird kind of, off there kind of way.
Oh yeah, no, I know, but like I didn't change. So what now? Or is it still happening?
No, it just means you're probably meant to stay a kid. Not all of us do. It's not a lot of us that change. It's actually very hard for us to keep our numbers up because it's very rare for someone to change.
It becomes less and less likely the older you get.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what age is the usual change happening?
Puberty.
Teenage years.
I mean, I'm 24, so that's like 10 years too late.
It is. It's happened. It's not frequent, but sometimes it does. Sometimes people don't have the right thing to kick them off until much later. But it's super rare, but we couldn't take the risk. Like I said, if you had, it's possible you could have torn half your house down and killed both your roommates.
That would be bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a pretty process.
By the way, they've been texting to see if I'm okay.
Yeah.
So,
I was, I
what
went
did
with the whole, carbon monoxide, and maybe we should all get out of the house, and don't worry, I've got Balka, and, maybe you should stay in a hotel tonight. And I hadn't really planned past that. It seemed like a good way to get him out without having to do anything overt.
I know. Look.
What have you told your parents?
My parents? I haven't said a thing to my parents. Like I've told them I've been seeing a nice girl. That's about it.
Aw, and that's sweet. But about the secrecy, if you go blabbing our secrets, we will kill you.
That's a hell of a statement.
No, it's as blunt as I'm being. I have to be.
That's why I'm saying that's a hell of a statement.
It is, but a lot of really bad things could happen if people found out about us. It's kind of, we only have so many really big rules, and that is one of the big ones, is people can't know. I can only tell you because you're part of the proverbial family, but other people can't know.
What is going to happen to my family?
Like I said, I'm going to do some research into your surname, or if, your parents had different surnames, your uncle, your niece, and see if there are guru that hold the same names. And if there are, I'll make sure they're looking on them. And if not, I'll probably have to check on them myself. I'm not going to go getting all up in their lives just yet, but I need to make sure they're safe, see if there's anything hovering around, anything that knows what they are.
You're probably going to have to get real good at lying, and switching up your story.
But, yeah. It means we check on them, and we make sure they're safe, too. In your case, with you being able to, she kind of gestures around, because she kind of vaguely saw where he was gesturing, with this. It gets even more complicated, but at worst, it just means there's someone looking out for him. Or so potentially that they have to go on to a sept if they need to learn how to use this. But it's not like we're out to ruin your lives. We just need to make sure you're safe and that you know how to do what you're doing, because say your niece decides to do like you, sees the webs and decides to try to play with them, she could get stuck and it could kill her.
Well, that's a funny thing, because like I'm looking into what is it? The other side? What is it? What is it?
It's called the Umbra.
Umbra? Like moon shadow?
Like a spirit reflection.
Yeah. Yeah,
Huh.
over there it is called the Umbra.
So I'm getting a little bit of a headache because I'm seeing this place, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm seeing that place, the Umbra. But then I'm also seeing another place.
Another place?
Yeah, like the place that I continue, like I keep seeing, like the things that, like, you know, what I was taking pills for.
That's a bit of a head tilt.
I've They're different places. And I don't quite know what to do with them. Am I crazy after all?
Crazy is subjective.
I don't
But
think so.
I will go on to say that whatever you're seeing is somehow related. So I admit that's not my forte. But maybe if you go and ask you might get some answers.
Who would I ask?
Um there are a few theaters around you could poke and ask questions of.
What's a theurge?
Spirit speakers. You know, I said I always have to have someone go with me when I'm learning, my tricks and whatnot. Theurges are the ones who can actually talk to spirits and who are meant to make the deals with them. It's their whole duty, just like it's my duty to question, and it's Eric and Dominic's duty to be the fighters among the fighters, be the biggest and the most capable. Kind of the front line in the fight.
Okay. So we've got theurge
Mm-hmm.
and Arun?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, but you're neither one of those.
Ragabash.
Ragabash.
And actually, do you have spirit side up by chance?
Yeah.
I have no idea how many things you set off. Her ankles are doing things.
Her ankles are doing things? What?
There are spirits around her ankles.
What kind of shoes are you wearing?
What?
Like there's something going on with your feet.
Feet. She like tugs down her socks. You mean these? And she's got anklets on. She's always been wearing anklets, but at the moment they're super different. I believe they have wind spirits in them.
Keep those, yeah.
Oh, it's instead of, I told you we learned to do different things. We have the old contracts. That's just teaching us to do a thing ourselves. There's actually spirits in them. They let themselves be bound into the item, and when I really need it, they help me. I call out to them. They wake up. They help me to run without growing tired. To sneak, keep my feet light.
That's pretty neat.
It is. Make sure I don't leave footprints around.
Let's talk more about your place in the society, right? So, under no circumstances are you supposed to be in any type of fight, specifically asked by an alpha. Meaning that don't give your opinion, don't talk like you have an opinion, or anything like that.
In the
Excuse
end,
me, what?
in the end, we're doing this. I told you, there's essentially a war. We're here to keep Gaia safe, like Eric said. And that is what we're focused on all the time. It's literally what we're here to do. And kinfolk, you're here to be safe. You're here to help us with certain things sometimes, but
What type of things, Grace?
the way it usually works, a lot of the kinfolk, the ones that know, they'll do things like hold down a job because sometimes we need to get a hold of money and we can't. Just like Eric can't go walking into a bus. He can't exactly hold down a 9 to 5. So the kinfolk will do things, they'll be there to support us. There are hands inside the world where people are. There are eyes inside the world where people are. They're not supposed to get into the middle of the fight. They're not supposed to get hurt. They're also the families. We can't... Dominic and I could never, for example, be in a relationship. The thing that makes us, go boom, the first change. If two of us who have had it were to mate and have a child,
It's blasphemy.
it's blasphemy for one, but they come out all
Twisted and wrong.
We're going from jobs to children.
I know. She holds a hand up. Bear with me. So they come out twisted. They come out wrong. It's a sin for us to mate with each other. So usually we take family among the kinfolk.
And it's called claiming. You claim a kinfolk. More than one.
It's also called claiming when you claim members of your own family to look over them. So it's a back and forth. We can't really be all the time in the human world. I can manage it pretty well, but most of us can't. So the kinfolk...
Sorry, go on.
Are an extended family. They're also the people who can be out in the world and tell us what's happening. Help us extend our influence there because we can't ourselves. And in exchange, we keep them safe and we keep them as family.
So do these kinfolk have anything to say about this?
Nope.
Most of them know. Most of them grow up knowing. She kind of glances at Dominic like, bro!
He looks at her and says, the more you sort of softball it, that...
But when it
Granted, I'm being gruff, but there are others out there that will be more gruff than I'm being right now.
I know. But when it comes to the fight itself, no, not really. And when it comes time that one of us has to say, you need to do this, questioning it could get someone killed. If I were to come up out of nowhere one day and say, I need you to come with me, we can't sit here and play 20 questions. If I do something like that, it's important. It's because there's a threat to you. It's because there's a threat to me. It's because something's about to happen. And so no, a lot of times there's no room for questions. There's no room for, but why? Or, but I have this other thing. The same thing that makes you important to us puts you at very, very high risk. And
Risk
what
how?
we will... Well, for example, just like there's us. There are versions of us who are twisted. There's a thing we're fighting that's trying to kill Gaia. There's a thing that taints the world. And it sometimes, as much as we like to pretend it doesn't, it gets a hold of us, and people can fall to it. And people can become twisted and corrupted. But they can still see and smell that you're family, that you're extended family. And just like we want to keep you safe, and we want to keep you close, they're going to want to do a lot worse. And when they keep you close, it's not going to be in a good way. They do terrible things to kinfolk. Okay. And I know I made very brief mention of it earlier, but by the same token, we're not the only thing that are out there. There's us, there's the thing we're fighting, there's leeches, vampires. There are other things out there that people don't know about. In your case, I'm pretty sure there are at least 2 of them following you for a while, but they're kind of a natural enemy. So someone else saw them following you about, dealt with it, didn't get your attention, didn't make you aware, just dealt with the problem.
There were vampires after me?
Yeah, I think so.
Like the
He
pointy
didn't know your
teeth?
name. Oh yeah. Yeah, you remember that whole conversation I had where it was like his like snaky. Yeah, they were vampires. They're creepy snake vampires. I don't know why, but they are. And there'd been at least 2 following you already, and I was scared to death they would know about you, and more would come looking for you. That's why I wanted you to call me so badly if you saw anything.
Uh-huh.
Because if you did, I'd have to show up, and I'd figured I would tell you, oh, why don't you go home? I'm just gonna take a look around, or I'm gonna call someone, and I would have dealt with it and tried to keep you off to the side where you were safe. That's my job. Because you're kinfolk. Even if we weren't, and she kind of gestures between them, even if we hadn't, I still would have done it. It's my duty.
Okay. So let me get this straight, right? You send people out in the world to get resources. And when the time comes, they need to follow you. And complete obedience is demanded.
When someone shows up and tells you to do something, there's always a reason. So yes. Yes, when one of us shows up and says, I need you to do this, and you know us. Now, if a complete fucking stranger comes up and says, oh my god, I'm totally a werewolf, you should listen to everything I say, I don't expect you to do that without knowing them. Because for all we know, they're the enemy.
How much is this abused?
No. No, if say Runa were to have a childish moment and show up at your home and say, I need you to do this, this, and this, and she asked you to do something that was wrong, she would be punished grievously.
I'm referring to I am your god, to the I am your god statement.
There's a face rub. Again, part of that was him trying to see if fear or anger would set you off. But part of it is founded in the fact that, yes, to a point, when we show up and we say, you need to do this, it's fucking critical that the thing happen. We're not asking because it makes us happy or it makes us feel big. We're asking because it needs to happen. We don't command kinfolk out of nowhere. Of the big rules, I told you, there's only so many. But there is a list of very, very clear rules that all of us obey, no matter where we come from, what jobs we have. And one of them is to respect the things that are smaller than us. Because you're still part of Gaia. By the same token, one of the other rules is to submit to those who are higher in station. Which is why when Eric told me to do this or that, I listened. Because he's my leader. Now, when he asks me to do the wrong thing, it's my job to come around and question him on it. But when it comes to sheer kind of order of command, there is a chain of command. And while we can't abuse the people below us, we can't disobey the people above us either. And the penalties for breaking those rules are harsh. Very harsh.
Okay, so do these rules apply to everyone? To kinfolk and werewolves?
I mean, it's not like normal humans know the rules, and in your case, you didn't get raised knowing the rules.
Like, there's not going to be a questionnaire at the end of this, right? There's like a fucking fill out form or something like that. Like tick box A.
There's not a pop quiz, no, but because you know now, It's my job to make sure you know the rules, and if you break the rules, I'm responsible for you, and we don't hurt kinfolk. So I am the one who will take any punishment for rules being broken.
Why?
That's just how it works.
Why?
Someone has to be responsible for you.
Well, why can't I be responsible for myself?
Because I can fix a broken arm in under a minute and you can't. And in the end, you don't know better. But I do, and it's my job to make sure you know better. I took responsibility for you.
So, if I do something that violates these rules, you're responsible.
Yes.
What else does that entail?
She just glances over to Dominic, just because, let's face it, if he's not vibrating at the chance to recite the litany, she'll eat her left shoe. Did you die yet?
I don't know. Anthony. You may have gone AFK.
Okay. Or Brian might just be muted, who knows.
Probably.
Alright. So the rules. And, again... fuck it. So rule number 1 is Guru doesn't mate with Guru. Because we make twisted monsters when we do. They suffer. We suffer. They can't live normal lives. And they're more prone to being tempted away. To becoming those wicked, twisted things. We all know that they're not going to live normally. And creating one is a sin. It's a crime. So we don't couple together, ever.
So that's where kinfolk come in.
Yes. Takes out the other finger. The second rule is we must combat the worm wherever it dwells, wherever it breeds. So, this is why Eric asked about your pills. There was a chance that, for all we knew, something was keeping you from changing. Perhaps it was making you sick. It's a nasty fucking thing. It twists people, twists things. It can cause sickness, it can cause disease, it can cause death. And the only thing we exist to do, really, when it comes down to it, changing like this means we're called to fight it. Because if it was left unchecked, it would swallow the world. It would twist everything. People would sicken and die. The world would become barren or toxic. It can't be left unchecked. So this is why every so often a kinfolk changes. So they can join in this fight. It's been going on for generations, upon generations, centuries. We've always fought the worm. And so she takes off another finger. Third rule is to respect the territory of another. And that can mean a number of things, depending on who you ask. But in the end, this place, for example, she gestures around just to the park. This is technically the territory of the Alpha, the one who holds the whole thing, who rules over this whole group, this whole sept. So if we do something wrong, if we go, I don't know, lumberjack nuts in the woods, The Alpha holds us responsible for violating territory. If I have an apartment in the city and someone breaks into it, does anything, that was my territory. And I can claim that they stepped out of line. By the same token, because I'm taking responsibility for you, in a weird roundabout way, it means that if anyone fucks with you, I can beat the snot out of them, because that counts as territory too.
What am I thing now?
No. No, it's just a very strange and flippity-floppity fucking concept. But because of the process of claiming, it means that as much as I'm responsible for you, it means I have every right to take umbrage if someone fucks with you. So if someone were to come and try to abuse the whole thing, I could claim violation of territory by the way the rules work.
Okay.
And I could take them to task. Same token, this means you can't go around except walking into people's homes. It means I can't go and throw pickup lines at someone else's kinfolk. It means a lot of things, but in the end, it's as simple as it sounds. You don't violate the territory of another guru. Fourth rule is accept an honorable surrender. We do a lot of fighting, but if someone surrenders honorably, properly, you accept it, no matter how mad you are, no matter how full of fuck thunder you are. You accept surrender. No matter how bad a conflict gets, if you surrender, that guru lets you lay there and accepts it. You may be the loser, but you're alive. You can concede a fight. Fifth one is submission to those higher in station, which I mentioned before. There are rank and file. Technically, Dominic, Eric, and I, we're all the same rank. But because we've been bound together by the spirit I told you about, at least among us, Eric is the higher. He's the alpha of our pack. So when it comes down to it, unless I have a damned good reason, when Eric says to do something, I submit to command, because he doesn't say it for no good reason. And if I think he's saying it for no good reason while I'm a ragabash, it's my job to call him out. But in the end, in that moment, I have to submit to the higher in rank. Now the rule that comes right after it, as she takes out another finger, is respect those in lower station, because all of us are Gaian. So while, yes, Eric can tell me to do, I suppose, whatever comes to mind, he still has to respect that I am another Gaian, and he can't mistreat that or abuse it. It's kind of tit for tat, really. And in your case, the way the nation works, technically you'd be lower in station.
Bottom rung.
It's kind of a toss-up on whether you're lower than Runa, really. You're still a cub. But the lowest thing that we acknowledge as part of the nation, yes. Technically. But it means that everyone has to treat you with respect. Because you may not be one of us, you may not be big and fighting, but you're still part of it. Oh, next one is the first of the share of the kill to the greatest in station. If we go... The practical application is we go on a battlefield, we fight. We earn something, we get something, we reclaim something. The highest in station has first dibs. Just like if it was a wolf pack going after a kill, the highest rank wolf eats first.
Right.
The next one, you wouldn't think... Oh, fuck it. The next one is, you shall not eat the flesh of humans. I know that seems like a kind of common sense kind of thing, but it's pretty cut and dry. I don't feel like it needs much explanation. The next one is the one I talked about earlier. The veil shall not be lifted. People can't know. If people find out, we have to undo the damage. And that does mean that sometimes we have to kill people to keep our secrets. If we can't cover it up. If we can't explain it away. People can't know we exist. I want you to think of every fucking horror movie where those reverse ones where they find something magical or they find something different and they immediately put it in a cage and start poking and prodding at it. We can't have that.
No,
And we
that
can't
sounds
do our
pretty
job.
logical.
Yeah. The next one is don't suffer thy people to tend thy sickness. It means if you can't do your part, no one else should have to pick up your slack. It means you can't be a burden.
What happens if you are?
You separate yourself. If something were to happen, no matter how much I might love my pack, I can't be off the field. I can't stop doing my duty to Gaia to take care of them. I can never stop fighting just to take care of them. Because at that point, you haven't just taken yourself out of the fight, you've taken others out. And there's so few of us, we can't afford to stop fighting. It's kind of like how, people tell you that an older dog or wolf will just walk away and curl up when the time comes. They don't expect to be tended. They're expected to do the same kind of thing.
Okay.
Considering how much we can come back from, though. Like, tilt her head around to look at him. Don't worry about it over much. It's not one I've seen called into question yet. It happens. But I haven't seen it. I've seen people regrow entire limbs. We can bounce back from a lot. So the next one. Leader can be challenged at any time during peace. As long as we're not on a battlefield, as long as a state of war hasn't been called, if I feel that someone above me is doing wrong, I can call them out or I can try to jockey for their position, take their spot. Dominic can do the same, anyone can do the same. As long as we're not on the field, you can challenge anyone above you in rank.
Can I do that?
You can't grow in rank the same way we can. So you can't challenge for a person's spot. You could never be an alpha. You could never run with a pack the same way. But if you were upset about something because I'm responsible for you, and you tell me, I can challenge in your name. I can bring your concerns. Because I'm kind of part of the rank and file. Just like you have to represent us out there. I represent you in here.
Okay.
All right? And the inverse is true. On the battlefield, or during a time where war is declared, it's not the time to play, I think I could do better, or I think you're kind of a jerk. We can't afford to be fighting amongst ourselves when we're fighting something else. So, no challenges during wartime. Because that's how you get whole packs of Guru killed. When you start snapping at each other instead of the enemy in front of you. And then, the one thing that has no room for translation, there's no way to twist this, there's no way to turn it. This place here is called a sept. Right?
Apparently.
And you can see what's going on over there, right?
Yeah.
All right? And she points. You see over there. I don't know how far your vision stretches.
To the wall.
She grins. If you step outside and you look that way, there is a place there. It's called a cairn. And what it is just like Gaia calls us to defend her. She's alive. She's a lot more alive than I think a lot of people realize. Humans certainly don't. And there are places where her lifeblood taps out into the surface. There are places where it blooms up. And they're places of power. And they're sacred. There's one of them here. That's why there's a sept here. And we have to protect them. We can't take action. We can't take inaction. We can never allow the worm to come and taint this place or swallow it up. It's anathema to everything we do. We have to keep these places of power safe and clean. So no matter what else we may have happening, no matter what else it may cost, if something were to come and try to lay siege to this place, every single one of us would stand and die trying to keep it safe. We cannot afford to have these places twisted and Gaia sickened, because that's when the world starts getting wrong.
Wronger.
A lot wronger. She just kind of nods.
That's a lot of rules.
I know.
Was that all of them?
Those are the ones that in the end, yes, those are the ones that are reinforced, and every little thing either plays into one of those or it doesn't.
Okay. Well, sure, I can remember those.
Essentially, that's why it's things like you could never lead a normal person here, because if they were tainted, they could affect the cairn. It's why you can't tell people. It's why it makes the whole thing work. I know it sounds strange, and I know it sounds old or very lupine.
Sounds very traditional.
It is very traditional, and it's worked for a very, very long time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I have a question.
All right.
What do you expect from me?
Right now?
Let's go with yes right now.
Right now, all I expect is hopefully for you to do well. I expect you to do your best to learn and to understand, because I don't want to keep you here if it can be helped. I want you to be able to go back out and live and have your job. But I need you to know enough to know when there are threats around you. I need you to know enough to know what to expect from us. I need you to be able to function even at the fringe of what we do. So, right now, I just expect you to learn. And the faster you learn, the faster I can get you back home. Preferably with some sort of spirit prepared, so that if something happens, if something does find out you're there, it can fly back to me and tell me a lot quicker than you can make a phone call. And I can come and keep you safe. But for the moment, the only job you have is to learn it.
This is so weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. But by the same token, I'm being expected right now to make sure you learn, to help you learn.
And so I'm expected to learn these rules and like this set of behavior? Like, what, am I supposed to just stand there, look pretty, and shut up?
No. No.
Well, I mean, I can't talk. You're my voice.
Well, look at it this way. If you were living on Sept, you'd still be able to talk openly to other kin. You'd still be able to speak to other guru. You just intended to be respectful. But that is why I don't want to keep you on Sept. Because while Eric is a Geta Fenris, like you said, and I'm a Fianna, like you said. Dominic's a Silverfang. She kind of gestures over.
What?
Every different group, every different clan, kind of, every tribe. We each have our own ways of doing things. And in my tribe, the ideal is that you go on just living your life. And if I have a need, I'll come to you. And if you have a need, you come to me. But ideally, we'd like our kin to be able to live out there. Not, some do stay on Seps. Some are closer family, and they take pride in doing this job. They take pride in helping us. But some just live out in towns, in villages, in the world. My family, back in America?
Without knowing?
No, they know now. My brothers and sisters do. They're being kept on a Sept because the way we were living. There's a reason I thumb my way around. And those people are taken care of. At least now they've got a roof over their head. They've got 3 square meals. They're being taught. And at least I can be all the way over here and know they're safe.
So my mom and dad, my brother, my sister, and my niece, my uncle, my other family, they're gonna continue without problem, right? They're like,
They should.
They're not all of a sudden gonna come on set.
No. I'll be looking. You said your uncle, your niece, and what? One of your siblings.
No, my
I'll check in
grandparents.
on them. I'll check in on them. It also depends on how strong the bloodline flows through them. You've got it about as much as I do. Like I said, there's little tells. And it means that I can recognize you, but it also means that the enemy can recognize you. And they know that you're our soft spot. They know that you're important to us.
So, no, never mind.
No, ideally, especially with all of them being unknown. I mean, ideally, there's already someone further up your family line watching them in different places. Some cousin of yours, maybe, who's changed and may already have claim and be watching them.
I don't know.
She kind of shrugs helplessly. You wouldn't necessarily. But that's why I'll check.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Okay.
Does it help if I tell you that one of the reasons I'm so worried for you? You remember you took me down to where you work? In the tunnels?
Mm-hmm.
There are absolutely things that go bump in the night in those tunnels.
Yeah, that's why I don't go down there.
Yeah, but they could come out. You saw what I can do with a locked door. You think a gate's gonna stop them if they really want to come out?
You know, now that you mention it, I prefer not to think about it.
Exactly. But that's why. That's why I'm making sure you know. That, and let's be honest, I thought you were gonna change. I was terrified you were gonna change.
If I had changed, what would have happened to us?
Well, we wouldn't have been a couple anymore. It couldn't happen.
Are we now?
I mean, I'm hoping. But I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't want to see me for a while. I'd still be your voice here. I'd still be looking after you. I'd still be taking responsibility, but I don't take away your free choice.
How to phrase this? I don't not want to. It's just this is a lot to take in.
Of course.
And I do appreciate the well, you've been pretty forthright with me. So I do appreciate that, so thank you.
I'll put it this way. Whether you want to keep on with the hanky-panky or not, still die to make sure you stayed alive. I know that's a lot to throw on the table, but that's how we live.
That's a lot to throw at the table. For some reason, I can't be mad at you.
Well, you know I'm fucking lovely, so there's that. Dominic's pretty lovely too. Gives him the big staring dude a pat on the shoulder.
Is he even here? Seems to be staring off into space with those blue eyes of his.
Are you still there, Ant? Come back to us.
Anthony, are you here? Anthony.
He did.
He did.
So, I saw the thing come up. Oh shit!
Oh snap!
Anthony.
Anthony.
Roo.
Oh, he's muted now.
Damn it!
Damn it! I'm sorry.
Life be life.
I had to run like real quick. I'm sorry.
You're good. I filled the time with the litany.
Oh, beautiful litany. So we're back on track.
We are back on track. I feel like Dominic might have opinions about how she softballed it because, man, she is softballed the shit out of everything. But
so where do we leave off?
They've just finished this whole litany thing and explaining that, like, yes, to a point, you only have so much voice, but being claimed means I get to be your voice, and if there is a problem, I can challenge over it.
Okay, so...
And then by the same token, that is why in the human world, you're kind of my eyes and ears and hands.
That's such a softball.
It is such a softball. So he asked basically, can I do that when she mentioned, challenging in times of peace? And she said, not really. No, but if you have a grievous enough issue, I can challenge in your name. Or I can challenge over what has upset you. It just depends.
Oh dear.
She's softballing the poop out of it.
Just wait till I have forces 4.
No, sir. You behave.
No.
And you yeet a guru. That's
yeet.
So, yeah. All in all, it's a lot. I can tell you right now that most of us don't make it to old age, which is why I say, honestly and openly,
we'll die violently.
I will, yeah, all of us will. But that's why I'm so ready to say, regardless of what we are, at this point, I've taken responsibility, and if something came after you or something went down, I can and will die for you if I have to make sure you live.
That's not exactly a pleasant thought.
No.
But the things that we will be fighting, eldritch abominations, malignant spirits, things that do terrible and horrible things, up and including capturing kinfolk to utter world-destroying catastrophes. Yes. There will come a point in time where Me, or Grace, or even all of us would be called to fight, and we will have to answer the call.
That sounds like a right apocalypse.
It is.
It pretty much is, yeah.
Also about your voice. Yeah, looking at Grace.
She like holds up the hand like, hey, what I said wasn't wrong, technically.
Also, when you talk and misbehave, and he says misbehave in quotations, and you upset another guru, she's going to take your lumps.
Yeah, she told me.
Yeah. The thing is, you gotta remember that I know it sounds stupid to have to play nice with everyone, but if I got, you know how I said if you had changed, you could have brought down half a house easily by accident. Like, there would have been no awareness. You wouldn't have been deciding, hey, I'll take out half this house. You just become that big and that capable of doing damage. The ones like Eric and Dominic, who have the most of that burden, that kind of area, that no zone that we were talking about, they're a lot easier to make angry. It's what makes them stronger. It's what makes them more capable of fighting. But it comes with a lot of anger.
So
And if you stir it up, they can do the same thing. They can lose control, and they can go batshit nuts and destroy a fucking building in no time flat, or kill one of us. They wouldn't have their mind or do it on purpose, but they could do it.
And we will be judged accordingly. That's just the way of things.
That's neat. People, okay.
The whole werewolves going apeshit bananas thing, it has a seed of truth to it, but it's not like we do it on the full moon. But we can be driven to be angry enough to lose control.
All day, 24/7.
Yes.
Adulterated, unblocked. So, marital disputes, you saying something in the wrong time, forgetting birthdays, anniversaries, and things could set her off the edge more than normal.
Yeah, angry isn't just angry.
So
even the least
I'm living
angry
with atomic and nuclear bombs is essentially what you're saying?
yeah. Even the
And
least
so
among
one
us.
wrong word is the truth.
We're not talking about an angsty young woman. We're talking about a rage-fueled, angsty young woman.
A rage-fueled, angsty person who can turn into a 7-foot killing machine. Some of us are a little more tempered than others. But, sorry, Dominic.
I don't feel so lucky anymore.
Including mid-coitus. I've heard Black Fairy tales where they've killed their mates.
What?
What?
What are Black Furies?
Oh, Amazon.
Another tribe, so another family?
Yeah.
Essentially a whole nother big fuck-off family. Yeah.
How many are there?
13, I think?
13? Yeah, 13.
Alright.
We come from all over the goddamn place, and in the end, a lot of it comes to bloodline. The Fianna come from Ireland. The Geta Fenris, they, well, come from the Norse peoples. Dominic here. Do you let him sub in?
Europe.
Which part of Europe?
Russia.
Europe's a big place.
Russia.
Oh.
You see my lack of humor? It might be because of that.
Look, man. The Russian language is a very fun language. It's just people that speak with a Russian accent are weird.
That's fair. I take that. He smiles like. But Grace is softballing a lot of it. I know she means well, but
there's the back of the head rub.
You know what? We can go with the softball for now. We can play hardball later on when I've had a chance to take this And
What I'm saying is that it's imperative to your life that you get the information correctly, instead of getting a quarter of it and misinterpreting what the information is.
that's great, but I've gotten a lot of information right now that I am not used to. So I'm just trying to process this.
But yes, that's why it's so important that we don't make people angry. Eric, I know, seemed harsh, but he was doing a damn good job of keeping himself even.
Tell you what, when you've had some time, let's go for a walk. And you can ask me all of the little questions you want to. And you'll get an unadulterated, hard truth of the matter.
All right, sure. Just yeah.
I'm not saying she's doing a good thing, but it's the wrong person. You'll hear through the pack link as if you do the wrong thing at the wrong time, that's your life. Kind of looks at you, shoves his hands, like it's kind of the way of it.
And it's not because they're nasty people.
It's just because anger issues?
There's a fire burning in the belly of all of us, and for some of it, it's a lot bigger than others. And all it takes is a little fuel. And if they do lose control, yeah, they'll be held responsible, but they'll still do a lot of damage. I've seen someone frenzy and kill at least 2 guru before they were able to be pulled down and let it run its course.
But you know what? With the more that you talk about it, the less this place seems safe.
Considering that it's something that can be mitigated by being polite, as opposed to something that is going to come after your ass no matter how polite you are out there.
That's probably going to come bursting through your front door, grabbing you by the face and making off with you.
So, yeah. I feel like being a little polite and being mindful of the fact that people are running on just under furious sometimes under their skin, as opposed to knowing that something could crash through your window or door.
Oh, another thing, big thing, there's something called a lupus.
Oh, yeah.
Don't call it a dog. That would be bad. Do not pet it. Do not coochie coo the dog, or try to like feed it or anything of that. Speak to it like a regular person.
There's a bit of a hand over the mouth to hide the grin. It's pretty obvious that I started human, Dominic started human, and we changed. And now we run the gamut. And we don't just turn into big, crazy war form. We have a line of forms, and we can become wolves. There's some who are born wolves, and then they change.
Baugus squints a bit. So there's a between form, bigger form, other between form, and wolf form.
Would you like a demonstration?
No, I can see it.
No, and since I don't have to spend rage for it, he will just say, "This is dog."
Lupus.
This is, Hispo, bigger.
As Dominic starts going,
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's okay. Yeah, okay.
Krynos.
And yeah, she'll be repeating the terms for the forms. Inhuman.
Glabro. And then back to human.
So, some of us are born on one end of the spectrum, some of us are born on the other. And the ones that are born in the middle is what happens when 2 of us get together and they come out like fucking alien chest bursters.
Yes.
That doesn't sound too good.
It's not good. It's bad. It is in every way ever bad.
Did you talk to him about that whole first tenet of the litany?
Yeah.
What did you say, Grace? I think I went to get some water.
God damn it.
Pointed out that no matter how things had gone, two of us can never be together because it breaks the rules. It's a sin. It's a crime. It creates a monster that's twisted by the worm to reflect the sin of the parents. They suffer. They cause the people around them to suffer. They risk the veil. Oh, and I did fail to mention the part where, 9 times out of 10, I imagine, if not more than that, they kill the mother outright on exit.
Yes.
They take a guru out of the fight. And what's worse, they can't ever breed. So they can never replace the lives.
Thought I lost.
They're the end of a bloodline.
Huh.
As much as I could wax poetic, I feel like I could use a lot of terminology you don't know.
Yeah, no, I can. Okay. Sure.
And yeah, you know what? For what it's worth, just for the sake of enabling the fact that Eric's outside and they're in, I imagine since Dominic went for some water, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, there is a place that, who knows where, that Grace has secured for Balka. And yeah, Dominic was at least visible coming out, getting whatever he was getting, doing whatever he was doing, which may or may not have been getting water, and then coming back in.
Just like an eyebrow raise, Zark's has logs of wood over his shoulder as he's walking, watching Dominic come out to get quote unquote water.
Yes.
Quote unquote, forever.
Then he kind of just walks up to the door, you know what I mean? Like, what are my packmates doing? You know what I mean? It's not kind of,
Wait.
you see him, like, it's the gigantic, like, Eric's a tall fucking guy, so you just see him in the door, like, sticking his head in, like, what are you two? Oh, you know what I mean? It's like, you know.
Open the door. Oh, we're just giving a history lesson.
You know, just walks in, you know, sitting there the wood very gently against the side of the wall so it doesn't like collapse everywhere. So he doesn't like make a mess essentially. Like, there we go, I'm just gonna leave you there. How is it going?
Grace to softball some stuff, but we've gotten most of it.
I'm surprised she hasn't softballed everything. Smirk's looking at Grace.
That's why I'm here.
Just nods.
A wry little grin and the rub at the back of the head. Like, heh, heh. Wait to go over the litany.
I take it that it was a very trying experience. Smirk got Dominic because he knows it's Grace and Dominic at this point. One's hard as fucking steel, the other's trying to softball it in. Yeah, no, Eric's no
One
idiot.
soft as puppy shit.
Yeah.
Dominic doing past basketball specials.
Does he at least understand the concept of it at least?
He says the concept.
Oh, it was a
A
nod.
lot of it will be interesting to see in practice.
Most of it is the first couple of times.
I can hear you guys.
Hello, Balka. You know, just gives a nod. Like, yes, I know. I am.
I am here. Ha
And
Look,
here I am. You know, that type of thing.
Look, man, I don't think you have to. Well, okay, fair enough. I understand your worry, but I have this thing where I lie for a living.
That is all well and good, but when lying comes at the price of one's life, anyone can stumble and fall.
It's true.
To be fair, it is a lot of pressure.
I do not doubt your ability to lie. I am making sure you understand the reasons to lie, so you will lie convincingly.
I have been given plenty of demonstration. An example.
Just gives a nod, like, yep. But it is never easy the first few times, not for any of us, unknowing or knowing. So, I'm assuming Grace will keep a handle on that.
For example, if someone of a higher rank says something a little demeaning towards Grace and you're there, you kind of have to grit and bear it.
Nods.
Same. So,
For example, say, a few days ago, Grace did a bad.
Back of the head rub again, like, yeah, that happened. Man, look at my hands.
Eric was there. Eric, as his alpha, has the right and authority to discipline his pack with physical force.
That is how some of the challenges are mainly done around among the guru, however. Physical force is a typical agenda. Kinfolk, you do not see it that often. I have seen kinfolk fight each other, but he just shrugs. Typically, guru do not go to try and physically force a kinfolk unless something extreme happens. Say, for instance, you try to slip into the umbra. That is when physical force is necessary to restrain, but not to harm. If necessary, things have to happen. Nobody likes it, but it is better to keep them safe from themselves rather than let them go in.
yeah.
So while we are keeping this among us, there are other guru that are, they have explained the ranks, so I will keep this brief. There are guru that are higher than myself, Grace, or Dominic, and they are harsher than myself, Grace, or Dominic. And if Grace makes, say, for example, makes a mistake, and they put her in line in front of you, you cannot, and I mean cannot, step in.
You step in, your life's forfeit.
I have a question. You can't step in directly. What about indirectly?
That will be even worse, for it means you are attending to matters which do not concern you. You are a kinfolk, not a guru.
That. Sorry, Alpha. If you do that, they're going to take it out on her. He points at Grace.
They will not harm you, but they will harm Grace, for she is responsible for you. However, he lifts a hand. If a kinfolk is being harmed and you step in, is much more acceptable because it is under kinfolk. But a guru settling a guru matter, that is not your periphery. That is a matter between the guru and the tenants.
By the same token, if I was being taken to task for something, if I'm in the wrong by those rules that you learned, by the litany, if I am in the wrong, not only can you not step in, but she points to the other two. We're bound together, and they're like brothers to me. But they couldn't do it either. When someone of higher rank decides, and by the litany they're right, there's no stepping in. Even if it seems unfair.
1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the sage to the Packlink? He seems ready to at least test the boundaries. That will happen at the early stages.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just bear in mind what I told you.
I'm ready.
I have been brought food.
Yay! Now you can eat in and out of character. That's Brecky so far.
To the Packlink, he says the wrong thing at the wrong time to a red talon. That's a bad day.
Thankfully, there are no red talons on this set. Thankfully,
Yeah.
Derek will just nod grimly.
Thank Gaia. Oh, thank Gaia.
But with the new Wendigo, I expect this shall be interesting.
Oh my god, if Satan steps out of lane, I'm gonna push his face in.
He is of equal rank, and it will be of if something happens. Remember to keep it in the bounds of the litany. If I catch you breaking the litany because of him, I will punish you.
I know.
And then, normal conversation resumes there, just zooms. But like, Bob could see it. They all seem to be looking at each other as they're doing it. Like, frowning at each other, very sternly.
Balco, for his part, seems to be wiggling his hands around in empty spaces.
My also advice to you. Most guru grow concerned when kinfolk are affiliated with the spirit world to the degree that you are. Theurge is not so much, and they will probably be the ones you cling on to most. But most guru, most kinfolk grow concerned. I would keep that talk to Theurges mainly, or if we have a pressing concern to Grace that she can bring to a more appropriate auspice to deal with it. It is a word of advice for your own mental
Okay.
clarity.
Okay.
It's
So
not
don't.
It's not very often that kinfolk can touch the spirits, or see them, or hear them.
It's not as if I can do it all the time.
It's kind of a
No,
shrug.
but the fact that you can among the kin, it means that you are not a rarity, but something of higher. I don't want to say value, but you have higher strength. Which means that you need to be careful with what you say, because if we can sense your value, point outwards, the ones that mean to do us harm can sense it even greater as well.
Okay. I okay. Are you still a god?
There's an eyebrow raise.
Type of question.
There's, for
just
the sake of
asking.
explanation through the link, is pointed out to him that a lot of that was to see if he'd change, so he'd understand.
I know what he's doing.
Oh no! You just head to the back like, oh, here we go.
He'll just Derek will tilt his head. If you wish to think that I'm going to give you an answer to bait a question, Bauka, I'm not. I know what this is. I'm very good at sussing out when someone is looking to pry, looking to poke. In this situation, to you, yes, I am the closest thing when I give an order among my people to a god. Not in the sense that I'm better, in the sense that I command the authority. There are men and women higher ranked than me who I obey. There is the Alpha, whose word is law here.
What about those on the other side? What about that one and that one? And the bigger one that, is over there?
They are spirits and they are not my domain. They are Theurges, but they hold the same respect. Theurges will tell you which spirits to provoke, which spirits to not. I worship my own god, Gaia, and my own totem, which is Fenris.
Mm-hmm.
The same way as Grace. People align with a different totem, and Dominix. We all align with different things.
So different spirits?
Essentially.
Okay. Okay.
I speak to the spirits, but they're not exactly part of the rank and file in such a way. Not the same way we are with each other.
Well, I mean, I don't know about you, but these rabbits are pretty nice.
Again, you need to be careful dealing with spirits, especially for one that is not a Theurge. They are fickle.
I can't help it. They kind of walked up to me.
You can help it, and you will learn how to. That is all I will say.
I would, trust me, I would love to.
Eric
Just will help.
Eric just looks at Grace like just giving a nod, like, oh no, I know what Theurge is gonna fucking say to him.
Just will help.
So where can I find a Theurge?
I've spoken to the elders. I imagine one will be sent to talk to you. One that's most accustomed to dealing with kinfolk in this situation. Because I imagine it's much different for you than it is for your average Theurge. To the spirits, we're like very distant kin. with all those old deals and contracts, like I told you.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how they'll see you.
Remember, be on your P's and Q's.
Oh yeah, always with spirits.
Hmm.
So, spirits respect. Imagine it works a bit differently than with werewolves. I feel like, from what you've explained to me, it feels like disrespecting a werewolf or questioning anything they do is carries far more direct consequences, and spirits more.
It
Ooh.
will depend. It will depend on the spirit. I know the spirits
Mhm.
related to my tribe. Well, they would take your hand.
Yeah, true.
My
It does
spirits would
depend on
take
the
everything you
spirit.
hold dear.
Ooh.
It depends on the spirit. Some are more affiliated and softer, like rabbits or doves, and some are harsher. This is just the nature of which they are created and the nature of the people they affiliate to.
Yeah. And every spirit has its own nature. They just kind of do what they do. They recognize us, but they're still just doing what they've always done.
That is so interesting.
But as I said, one of you will need to be careful. They will not see you as someone. They will not see you as a guru, and they hold greater respect for guru because the guru is so closely affiliated.
Right. Outsider.
Not in that as you're not connected to them as we are.
And Guru being half spirit. Different.
Yeah.
Nods.
If we're partial kin, you're, I hope, seen as more distant kin.
More like 12th cousin or some shit.
I imagine.
More like redheaded bastard kid.
Kirk totally does a smirk like.
Well, that's good to know. All right. I can deal.
Being a kinfolk is not a bad thing. I know many that are very happy with their lot in life, and some who live a completely normal life with nothing bothering them.
This is true.
It's just, I didn't quite think that this was something like this was going to happen in my life.
None of us did.
Nope. I was supposed to go to college. That didn't happen.
Same as myself. But then we answered the call. None of us expect these things to happen, but they're there, and there's nothing we can do to change them.
Okay. Okay.
I hope it's all making sense in its own weird way.
And look, man, I feel like I have a slight benefit over other people that came in completely blank over the fact that I've been seeing weird shit since the day I was fucking born. So I can accept things a little bit more easier, maybe. I don't know, we'll see.
Sure.
The way of the nation is a harsh and tough life. There are some things you will accept initially, and there are things that you will learn to have to accept.
I noticed that yesterday.
Just gives a nod. We've all been kicked in the dirt before. It is not something unknown to each of us.
Dominic laughs like.
Man, look at my hands. Just gonna keep playing with this bauble that has somehow magically come out of my pocket somewhere along the way. Like,
Be thankful that you are not a guru. As a cub, especially of my breeding, they kick you in the dirt regularly to prove that you can get back up again.
Oof.
yeah.
That just sounds like bullying.
It is.
No. In a way, it's not. It is strife. And strife makes a man strong, or strife makes a woman strong. It teaches you what you have to endure for Gaia.
And you
It's a lot
getting
easier.
kicked in the dirt is fine.
It's a
But
lot
getting your
easier.
chest ripped open is indeed another. And you have to learn to bit and grade. And, bear it.
It's a lot easier to learn what you can come back from in a place like this than it is to learn it on the battlefield, where you might not think you can get back up, and that might be what kills you.
Support structure, not so support structure.
We have support structures. They're called a pack.
Also called kinfolk.
And you.
You'll laugh.
I have my kinfolk who support me, and they have done since the moment I changed.
Like Helga?
Helga, yes. I have known her since we were both young. I changed and she did not, but she's still been by my side and has supported me in every action I have taken.
Oh.
And I protect her.
Did you finish all those kebabs, by the way?
Give a nod.
Holy shit, you eat a lot.
Well, I mean, as you might imagine, she points over to Dominic doing like a wiggle finger, like an up and down. It's kind of
Weird.
fucks with the metabolism a wee bit.
Yeah.
Dominic seems to be eating half of a rabbit.
fucking Eric fucking strength for over there, fucking big papa pump, as he's picking up one of the bits of apples as well, like, ooh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we eat a lot.
Balka looks at his breakfast, looks at you guys, kind of turns away with breakfast.
No.
Oh my!
Not my bacons!
That would be called bullying a kinfolk.
Oh, yeah.
There's no point in me taking your food when there's food for me to get.
Yeah,
Science in a pinch. Can always run something down. Kind
It
of
is
grins a
smart.
bit to see how he processes the idea of, like, in a pinch, I could just turn into a wolf and eat something.
It is much more satisfying to do so. The blood is raw.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure it is.
Eric just gives a nod like it is. Taste the meat is softer once it's ripped from the flesh quicker.
Yes.
For some of us, normal food is not an option.
Ooh, that sucks.
Oh, yeah.
It is not. Raw meat is something that is satisfying. As long as it's the flesh of an animal, not a human.
Oh yeah, we can't eat flesh
Oh.
of humans. That's a bad thing.
Yeah,
I'm so
rule,
glad for
rule,
the sushi.
Heard the rule. The rule. Okay.
Did you explain metas to him yet?
Yes.
Twice now? The very abridged version, Sage nod.
He gives Grace the most raised eyebrow, like you abridged metas. You know what I mean? Like just stares at
Very
him
abridged.
like.
Kind
I-
of stiffly, like very abridged.
I filled in the blanks. It's fine.
I said enough, but there's no need to go on a long ass rant with a lot of terms he doesn't know. That'll make me feel a lot better, but won't teach.
You need to teach him what they look like. They are quite a sight. The first time.
Oh, that's a good point.
Gives
You said
Grace the
something
fucking like dad stare, like do your fucking job. You know what I mean? Stare.
You said something about being twisted.
Yeah. Yeah, there were, well, now there's only one here, but the one has horns, like gestures with
Horns.
their hands.
It's a mark of their sin.
Their sin?
For they were born of their parents' sin. They were born of it. They killed their mother by clawing their way through her womb.
Kind of like aliens.
One of the
They were-
first things they do is commit murder.
For they were born in the war form. So Gaia curses them for that.
So, Dominic will shift into his war form and be like, this jumping out of your chest.
Like I said, alien.
Back to human.
The one has horns. The other was white like an albino. I imagine she charged something fierce in the sun.
You look
Sorry,
at Grace,
it.
called it what it's really is.
Assume she's saying it because Katie is really
Above.
bad at it, but Grace would absolutely use the term it.
Oh, right. Metis don't actually have rights. They're considered less than.
They are
Why
lords
not?
because they are children born
Of
of the worm's influence. They must earn the right to stand among us. Once they do, they die like any other good warriors of Gaia on the battlefield alongside their brothers and sisters. But because of the circumstances, they have to earn their passage. It is a hard life.
Think of it this way. It's rule number 1, right? It's the very first one I told you.
Right.
We all know the rules.
And there are people who break the rules.
To be driven,
like you wouldn't believe.
To be driven to do something like that, knowing exactly what you're going to create, it takes a certain amount of temptation, and that is another thing the worm does, is it tempts you to do things that you know are wrong and twisted and bad. So if the worm's whispering in the ears of both the parents, there's just that little seed there inside every metis. But they were still made of it. They were still made under that influence. That's why they're twisted.
Remember before, were we talking about spirit deals? Spirits don't think like us. A spirit could, in theory, ask Tugaru the mate to fulfill promise. Deadpan seriously.
And those are deals you can't make.
Then you bind it by force. Or just nods to the most get offender's answer ever. Just,
And then those spirits get spanked.
Essentially.
I feel like it's a fucking ladder. Like, it keeps going up and down, up and down.
Oh, it is. It's a very long ladder. Very complicated 3-tier sideways ladder.
Like, it has branches.
Oh, yeah.
Each tribe has different custom.
That is so... Well, I mean, especially if you go by different cultural regions.
Nods. We all adhere to do the same thing, which is fight the worm and protect Gaia. Each of us go about it in different ways, but we are all after the same goal.
Huh.
Any more questions?
Huh?
Any more questions?
Well, I have one, but I don't know if I'm supposed to ask it.
Well, you don't know until you ask, and then we'll tell you.
You keep talking about a war.
Mm-hmm.
How is that war going along?
Perpetual.
Ongoing.
Perpetual.
I told you we've been around since a time before humans learned to write. It's still going. That's how it's going.
Ooh. That's a stalemate.
It is.
She pauses.
They have corrupted themselves and corrupted us and corrupted everything around them. We are the last line. We are the ones that the world will never know of our struggle, and they will never know how many droves we die in. And if someone does not, then the likes of you and the kin out there and the world out there is doomed.
Does this corruption have, like, signs? Or is it all some magic thing?
Taint is what it is called. You will see it growing inside them in some cases. Like
Especially
a sickness.
if you can see spirits.
Like, is this like chaos corruption from, like, Warhammer or some shit?
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. But remember how you said some spirits look like nightmares? That's the kind of thing.
Eesh.
If you see it crawling along and leaving behind grime and rust and oil, that is the kind of thing.
That's almost like the entire city, though.
Most
cities
are infected with heavy amounts of worm taint.
Do you see the webs too? Not the ones between here and there.
Let a theurge explain that. They are better suited to the wild and the weaver.
I just figured it.
So
It hides between them.
There is things that there is explaining, and then there is overloading.
Fair enough.
Us like Planeteers meet 40k soldiers.
But that is not your fight. You just need to know where they are and the dangers that you need to avoid.
Of course, there will be more lessons that you'll have to learn, but don't want to overload you.
Sure. Sure. As he reaches down into his bag that he packed and gets out a set of dice, looks at him. Puts them on the ground. Yeah, later. Never mind. Puts the dice back, but keeps the 2 dice in front of him.
Being aware is important, but here, fuck it. Can I see that? She'll actually point over to the steak knife she brought over.
What,
With his
first?
breakfast. Yeah,
Why?
I can show you. I feel like it's one of those things that you don't really believe till you see it proper.
Here?
And yeah, she just takes it. And stuffs the bauble back in her pocket. This is why we fight. You don't. Among other things, for one, you can't do what we can do. You can't get as big as we can. But here's the other reason. And she doesn't do something really fucking dramatic, like grossly slash her hand open. But she does essentially just probably on the heel of her palm, cuts around the curve of the bottom of the heel of her thumb. And she doesn't do anything gruesomely deep either. It's 1 point of lethal. She just shunk. And I mean, she winces. It hurts. You can tell it hurts. But she does that, and then she kind of gives a little shoulder shuffle and takes her time growing up to Glabro, and keeps the hand out where he can see it, so he can see it within a matter of seconds, just kind of knit its way back together.
Wow. I have to get stitches for that.
I mean, most normal people do.
That's...
She wipes off the knife on her, just on her pants, and sets it aside. Doesn't set it back on his tray. This is biohazardous now. That's got cooties on it.
That's got cooties on it. No, thank you.
Oh, so she just kind of sets it aside and reverts to Hamid with, whereas going up to Glabro took her a moment of concentration, shrinking back down is just kind of a blip, thump, collapses down.
I know how shapeshifting works, Katie.
I know. I just figure people kind of, even if you're aware of it, don't necessarily think about it all the time.
That's fair. Ugh.
They may be called to fight, but it's not like we're unequipped.
But again, that is not your role. No matter how much Grace likes to tell you about the fight, it is not your role.
No.
Indirect help, huh?
Yeah.
It is either that or die.
Ugh.
And the death will not be like the tales say it is.
Also,
And that is if you are lucky.
there's also a chance that you and your children could, your children or your grandchildren could become werewolves or Guru.
That's true.
That's a long time away from now, isn't it?
It depends if you and Grace mate or not.
If you get jiggy with it.
Not.
Man, look at that spot on the wall over there.
I mean, it has happened, but I don't think in that way, no.
Well, if she's pregnant, then we won't know yet. Just pats her on the head, you know what I mean? You know, it's the kind of shrug. It's not something to think about now.
just funny to me.
Just food for thought.
All right then. So, okay. What am I going to do with the rest of today? Where are these Fearges? Is one of them going to come here, or am I supposed to look for one, or?
You will have to wait. The same as we will have to wait, for many of them are higher rank than us. So you will have to wait. This will be a test in patience.
I have, like I said, I've told the elders you're here. I've told them the circumstances, and they'll probably be sending over someone who knows how to phrase this for you. Because a Theurge teaching another Theurge is one thing, but teaching you will be different.
I have, at the moment, called in sick from work, but I only have so many days. So what do we do when those days are up, and I still have to be here?
We will worry about that when the time comes. For now, you focus on learning so you can not miss those days.
Yeah. Shouldn't come to that.
Also, if it does come to that, you'll just have to quit.
What?
Nods. But it should not, provided you learn quickly.
But you're learning, so I mean, that's like the worst case scenario.
Nods.
I feel like a worst case scenario is me dying.
Worst case scenario is if the worm gets hold of you.
Then we have
That is the worst case scenario.
Oh, yeah.
And that does not mean death.
Well, all right then.
So get to learning and the studying, so you can go back to your job and not be a liability.
Yeah, Eric just nods.
Well, let's take it all with a roll of the dice then.
Rare moments where I pray for botches, so it can be hilarious.
Oh yeah, no, I don't want to roll them ones.
Not your one.
I have retained nothing. Fuck it.
So, anything else?
You will actually raise a hand. Runa, she is a cub. She is young. She does not have control of herself as much as the others do. Be very careful around her. Not that she will do you harm unintentionally, but for cubs, they are only learning to control the rage in them. So, be careful.
Good to know.
It is not her fault, and it is not something that she is learning to control it. It is for your own safety.
No, okay.
And that goes for you as well, Grace. No unsupervised visits.
Understood.
Best friends.
Unsupervised visits? What?
A kinfolk and a guru are like Runa alone. I'm not saying she will, but the frenzy times of a frenzy is likely. Cubs are prone to unregulated emotion.
Oh, so I can't be alone when I visit other guru, or other guru can't be alone when they visit me.
Runa can't be specifically, but for now, with you learning, Grace should be with you at all times.
Little thumbs
Sure.
up slowly rises. But yeah, especially in Runa's case,
Sure, I
it
don't mind.
means I come with her. Make sure that if she gets too worked up about this or that, I can wrestle her outside. Thumbs up intensifies as the second thumb comes up.
He'll walk over to his big logs of firewood and heft them over his shoulder, and that does not mean you go rutting in the fields either. As he, opens the door and, walks out.
I'm gonna shoot a look to Grace.
I mean,
Like,
can't folk get down like that. I'm just saying.
Dominic's like, I know what he's talking about.
She's just making that face like, thanks, guys. It's a very normal expression, really, in light of all that's being said. It's just like, yeah, thanks. Let's.
There's a general rule: if the house is shaking, don't come knocking.
And I mean, yeah, it's been all this war and craziness and shit, and Grace just looks like someone who's getting ribbed by a bunch of older brothers. Just like, thanks, bro, thanks.
It's the smirk on Eric's face when he's going, fucking in public, young ladies. He's walking outside.
I mean, unless that's your kink. Well.
Actually, well, the pack like, or in my house. You know what I mean? This is walking.
That finally makes her sputter for a second.
No yiffing in the field.
Oh, come on!
No, in my house.
Oh, not you. You can make that rule.
Alright, then I'm just going to tell your best friend. You know the metas.
Oh, for the love of fuck, I will beat the ever-loving fuckity-fuck out of that horned monster.
I mean, he is a horned monster through the back leg.
What?
He's here completely naked.
If that thing shows up naked, I'm ripping it off.
Why?
What?
Everyone yiffs in the field.
No yiffing in the vineyards. That's not how we do around here. Absolutely fucking not. But like thumps her little tiny fist down, like dunk.
I don't care what you guys do. Just don't do it in my room. He says regularly.
Out of character. I don't think this is the pack house. This is like a separate house.
Yeah, we're in a different place.
Yeah, you got to
They're just configuring the warning like, not in the pack house.
Not in my house.
Oh,
Sounds
this
like
place
every
is...
disapproving parent ever.
So this place is fine.
No, yeah. This place, you fucking took his brains out, but in my house, no. We keep this place 1800 style in my house. That's the basic Eric.
Not where we put the sandwich, goddammit.
Everybody's wearing a chastity belt.
You don't even look at each other the wrong way. But yeah, no, Eric's just like, you can do whatever the fuck you want in this house. But mine, no.
Thanks, guys.
Love you.
You told us. Erica just says to her, like, you're probably still standing outside. You said if we had any problems, we could tell you. You encouraged us. I'm telling you.
Yep. I wouldn't want to do it on the couch anyways.
No, Helga would spray you with something.
She would. It'd probably be like Windex. Not
And I
even
would
like
be-
just water. It'd be Windex.
And I would get the power hose.
What? In the house?
Yes. Making the house smell like angry pee.
This via the pack link or
No, Eric did this. That's the great part about Eric. He's so blunt. He was like, no, and I would get the power hose.
Dominic just says don't make the house smell like angry pee like regular.
oh, what is happening? I can see the brother sister relation happening right now. I can see it
Yeah, in real time.
in real time.
Oh yeah.
So, if it is in this house, you may do as Gaia pleases. But in the pack house, especially with a cob there who has not allowed near any kinfolk, I would think it very unfair.
There's
And
that
plus, I don't
lane
want to
through
see
the
it.
door.
Plus, I don't want to hear the sound of you two fucking. My walls are thin.
Does that mean nobody else can fuck in the pack house?
Nobody usually does fuck in the pack house.
This is the pack house, Grace.
Oh. I got it. Don't shit where you eat, as it were.
Yes, because this is where I put my sandwich, Grace.
Man, and the dining room table was top of my list.
If you would, there's like this the frown, like no, we eat.
I eat there. Don't do that.
Finally cracking a pretty broad smile.
If you start fucking in the pack house, that means I will start fucking in the pack house, and I can
We will
spend
all
more
start
days than
fucking
you
in the
can.
pack house.
Is this going to become competitive? Is that how it's got to be?
Yes,
If you
we'll do
should be
competitive
doing
fucking. I will burn rage the fuck.
Hmm.
Well, that's
I'm just,
We were
I'm just sitting here like, what?
These people are insane.
Well, it turns out we can't fuck in the back house, Bauka. Otherwise, there will be competitive fucking against every flat surface available. And I like to think I'm pretty open-minded, but the
Yes.
Indeed.
just like thanks? Question mark? Thanks. I hate it.
Okay, no, I'm just gonna.
I mean, I guess unless it's your fetish. Leans over with a cheeky smile.
Look, man, there have been plenty of times when I walked through the red light district when I was a teenager. What?
There's things you haven't seen yet. I'm just gonna put that up there.
Oh, you think so?
Oh, I know so.
Oh, you think so?
Oh, I know so. There's a
Like,
term I like saying called taking the knot. He looks you directly in
Oh
the
my
eye.
god!
That's bestiality.
Eric could poke his head in or living the dream.
Oh my god! Nobody actually does that!
I've heard
He looks at you.
Nobody actually does that!
I've heard the story.
I know,
Okay.
everyone's heard the stories, but do you actually know anyone who's done it?
There's the thing.
These are the important
falling in love with
questions.
human kinfolk, and they tried new and different things.
What is, like, I know what taking the knot means, but what is living the dream? I'm curious.
Oh, no!
Eric comes back inside.
Flops over, just dramatically
Logs
flops
back
on the
down,
floor.
puts his arm around Bauka, like all buddy. Living the dream is having sex in the different forms.
All of them, like a
All of them.
checklist.
You go through it stage by stage, and therefore leads in, you live the dream.
That is called bestiality.
No, it's not.
I have not known anybody who's done it, but I know my friend's cousin, whose cousin's friend, if you know what I mean.
That is such bullshit.
So you know someone who knows someone who knows someone who
It is.
has.
Exactly.
It is sort of the popular,
Everybody knows someone who knows someone who knows someone, but nobody actually knows someone who did it. I'm pretty sure it's bullshit.
Shifts into Krynos.
Oh!
Gives you the eyes like that, and then like this, like that. Just going through forms.
Bloop, bloop, bloop.
Boom, boom, boom.
And I feel like it's worth it to call bullshit every time a fella says he's done it because you ripped that poor girl in half.
What if you know that's her fetish?
I mean, it goes for the same for.
It's not a
female.
fetish to die horribly having your organs torn open.
It would be the same for a female.
Nobody likes internal bleeding.
It would be the same for a female, Grace. I do not think it's.
I mean, no, it'd just be like throwing a hot dog down a hallway.
Not really, when you think about it.
No,
If you go into the dynamics of it, no, it would not be.
it's not really that bad, Grace. You're
It
being
would, it would be more muscular. Stop,
No.
more or less
Human
violently
kin,
locked in
Krynos,
place.
female guru, hot dog down a hallway. It's like feeding a Tic Tac to a whale.
No, it's more like feeding.
How would you know? Is Eric Lee
Have you done this?
Yeah.
No!
Lies.
But you seem to know the specific what your body feels like, which means you have at least done it in a different
Oh
form.
my god.
I'm just watching with fascination.
You tried doing this to me.
Have you done the lupus, Grace?
No!
I think you're lying, man.
That is a yes.
No!
That was a yes.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's a very distinctly a no.
It's a very distinctly a yes.
Oh my god. You'd just get your ears checked?
No, I know what you do.
Do ya?
Just gives a nod. Now I know. I am now satisfied.
Oh my god. No! No. The arms are flailing now like no.
Every circle is how many knots you've taken. I've seen it.
Oh my fucking god.
It explains a lot about your behavior. No,
What, did I like it doggy style?
I guess.
And the bouncing.
Oh my... No!
We're
I'm
very
just
open here.
energetic. Why you gotta make this weird?
Malcolm
No,
turns
don't
his head to
listen
the
to
side and chuckles.
Oh god, don't get in on this too. Come on now.
It explains
Fucking
many.
just like
It explains a
what?
lot of
It
things.
explains a theory that I've had for a while now. At this rate.
A lot of things.
Hmm.
Oh wow. Watch is always in trees. Have you fucked in the tree yet?
Do you send them up the tree and hop after them? So it's some sort of like initial like.
Like this weird
Oh
like
my god!
thing you do.
That would take so much precision to do it without killing somebody or
But
ripping
you
his
have
dick
time
off.
and motivation. So that's
Hmm.
yeah.
It seems you're
Oh my
very well
God.
practiced. It seems the level of well practiced you are. You've done it at least once.
I don't know. I've been shaken out of a tree at least once too. You'd think I'd have a better grip if I was doing that up in there.
I would hope so.
It explains why you can hold on to the tree for so long. Yes.
Oh my god!
I'm having
Too many
tears,
things about
guys.
you.
I'm crying. Fuck you.
And remember, looking at Grace directly in her eyes. Turn
Right
off
in
the
the
back link. I don't need
Yeah.
to hear any of that.
Yes.
I
That
do!
would be. No, you don't.
Yes, I did.
Not
No,
the
you
last
don't.
time.
Yes, I
Not the last
did.
time.
Very
We heard everything.
confusing.
We heard everything the last
You
time.
did not.
We
Yes,
heard
we
everything.
did.
Oh my god, no, you
That's
didn't.
how I knew his name was Mark.
Mm.
I introduced you.
You also squeal. It is very disconcerting. I thought something was wrong. In it.
Oh my!
Like a stuck pig.
Mm. I even jumped out. I jumped out of the bed quite alarmed, you see, and then I
I was
realized what was happening.
Oh my god, no, you didn't. You're so full of shit.
How do you know what I do?
Because I didn't share.
Mm.
Mm.
Why are you just trying to make me feel bad? No, I know what this is. I have big brothers. I know what this is. I did not.
No, you totally
Pointy
did.
finger.
I was quite alarmed. I had to tell
Oh my
Runa to shut off the backlink very quickly. She was like,
Oh
I
my god,
told her
no,
to
because
come
if I'd shared, Runa would have attached to my fucking arm the second I got back on Sept.
she has. She attached to mine and was very disconcerted.
Oh my
I
god,
said to
no.
her
I think
that
she was so happy.
I said to her that
It was Karoo Sex in
nothing.
the City.
I said to her it was nothing to be concerned of, that you were merely engaging in aggressive negotiations with a fellow kinfolk.
Oh, what?
Nothing to concern yourself with. Hmm.
Hey,
Anyway,
Grace.
I will leave. He just picks up the logs again.
Flailing.
You want to go for a walk?
Yes.
Okay.
Bye.
Both ears are like, oh, walk.
Dinner's at 7.
Okay.
Once they're walking, he's just gonna say thanks for that. I really needed that laugh.
Oh my god, that wasn't even me. But I'm glad you got a laugh. Jesus. I swear I haven't done it in a tree though.
The best kind of joy is Schadenfreude, isn't that true?
It is. It's fucking true.
All right.
Ugh. But shall we call it there, guys?
Yes, let's.
So in light of this, we'll say thank you, players, for playing, and watchers for watching. We'll see you next time. Another thrilling episode of Guys, Really? Guys!